Since the 1980s, Newcastle has been undergoing a transformation from a traditional industrial city in the northeast of England to a modern commercial and business city. At the same time, local museums in Newcastle plays a vital role in protecting and preserving the local cultural and industrial heritage. The question is, in the digital age, how can new technologies help tell these stories? With these questions, I spoke to Daniel Stock, an officer of the collections management team at the Newcastle Discovery Museum, to explore how their digital database EMU is being used to protect and preserve Newcastle local industrial heritage.
We've got collections such as archaeology, social history, science and industry, art, and maritime history. And all of that needs to be managed on one system. So my role really is to work really closely with EMU and to keep track of the collections across our different venues. So that is things like carrying out audits of collections, making sure things are where they say they are, managing loans of objects in and out, and making sure it's all tracked really well on our system. I think that change in the first instance would have just been because obviously if you're tracking everything on paper, it becomes really arduous. You're going to have loads of paper. It's going to be really easy to kind of lose things or not keep a track of things. And just purely on storage, if you've got everything on paper, it becomes really difficult to manage the longer time goes on. The industry here was massive right from the Industrial Revolution up until the 1970s and 80s. And then there was a really sharp decline and people started moving away from the area. We didn't have many jobs here. Now things are going the other way where we are having more work and more jobs, but it's like a service economy. It's commercial. It's not the same type of work. We don't really have that type of heavy industry here anymore. And at the minute, it's still in living memory. So we've a lot of people who live in the Northeast will have worked in industry in the 20th century. They'll still remember it. But actually, it won't be long before it isn't in living memory and we don't have the people still alive to draw on for that history. So preserving it is really important because actually, I think that industrial heritage is a huge part of what makes Newcastle and this area. It's a really massive part of our identity. And I think that still resonates with a lot of people. And I think especially going forward, as it becomes less relevant to younger people, actually preserving that history and sharing it and kind of letting people understand how important it has been in Newcastle's history, not just Newcastle in the UK, but especially Newcastle,